I need to tell you about something that's happening tomorrow, and I need you to hear this before it arrives, because if you don't understand what's being offered, you might walk right past it without recognizing it as the gift it is. I'm Luna Solano. I've been reading the stars for 40 years, and what's happening tomorrow afternoon in the sky at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Time, to be precise, is something I can count on one hand the number of times I've seen in my lifetime at this level of specificity. Saturn and Pluto are forming a sextile, and before you tell me that sounds technical and distant and unrelated to your actual life, I need you to stay with me for a moment, because what I'm about to tell you is directly about you, about your work, about your years of effort, about whether the universe sees it. The answer is yes, it sees all of it. If this is the kind of guidance that helps you navigate the sky, subscribe before we continue. I want to be here for what comes next, and so do you. Let me start with the planet that is most personal to you today before we get to tomorrow's event. The moon is in Virgo right now. Virgo, the sign of careful attention, of service, of the careful, methodical, unglamorous work that keeps everything running. And there's a beautiful synchronicity in that, because what's happening tomorrow is precisely a recognition of the kind of work Virgo represents, the work done in private, without fanfare, with precision and care, and a commitment to doing things right, even when no one is watching. The Virgo moon today is not dramatic. It is not the kind of moon that announces itself. It moves through your house of health or work or daily routine and simply asks, is the foundation sound? Are the details attended to? Have you done what you said you would do consistently over time? If the answer is yes, and I believe for so many of you watching this, the answer is yes, then the Virgo moon is preparing you. It is setting the stage. It is doing the final cleanup before something significant arrives. So let me tell you what's arriving. Saturn entered Aries on February 13th of this year. That was the first time Saturn had been in Aries in 29 years. Saturn, the planet of structure, of time, of the slow accumulation of consequence, moved into the sign of the warrior, the sign of brave new beginnings, the sign of the first impulse. And the moment Saturn entered Aries, the sky began building towards something it had not been able to build toward in nearly 3 decades, a conversation between Saturn in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto has been in Aquarius since 2023. Pluto, the planet of total transformation, of the power that emerges when what no longer serves is destroyed and rebuilt. Pluto in Aquarius is the transformation of collective power, of how communities hold and exercise authority, of what it means to have influence in a world that is reorganizing itself around new principles. Tomorrow, these two planets form a sextile, a 60-degree angle. In astrological terms, the sextile is the aspect of opportunity, not the dramatic breakthrough of a trine, not the forced growth of a square or opposition. The sextile is the door that opens. But here is the critical thing about a sextile. The door opens, but you have to walk through it. The opportunity is real. The reward is real, but it requires participation. It requires you to recognize the opening and move toward it. Let me say something now that I don't hear many astrologers say about Saturn-Pluto contacts, and I want to say it directly because it's important. When Saturn and Pluto come into alignment in any aspect, the universe is performing an accounting. It is taking stock of what has been built versus what has merely been accumulated, of what has been earned through genuine effort versus what has been held through habit or fear or inertia. And in that accounting, the ledger balances what you have genuinely worked for, what you have built through years of showing up, of discipline, of choosing integrity, even when the easier path was available. That work is recognized. That work becomes power. I want to say that one more time because I need you to hear it fully. The hard work you have done, especially the hard work that no one else saw, that didn't get applause, that you did in the quiet hours and the difficult seasons, that work is about to be recognized by forces larger than the people in your immediate life. The cosmos keeps better records than anyone, and Saturn and Pluto together are the auditors. They are precise, they are thorough, And tomorrow, they are arriving at a conclusion in your favor. This is not wishful thinking. This is what Saturn-Pluto alignments do. I was watching these two planets in 2020 when they conjoined in Capricorn, the last major Saturn-Pluto event. That conjunction was a reckoning. It dissolved structures that were not built on truth. It forced a global confrontation with what was and was not working at the deepest level. We all felt it. We are still living in its aftermath. But here's what comes after a reckoning, a rebuilding. And the sextile, the aspect of cooperative opportunity, is the first clear signal that the rebuilding is bearing fruit. That what you chose to keep building during those difficult years is now ready to yield something. Let me be specific about what this might look like in your actual life, because astrology without practical translation is just poetry. For some of you, the Saturn-Pluto sextile will feel like a conversation, a professional conversation that you have been waiting to have that finally occurs and goes differently than you feared. A recognition from someone whose recognition matters, that arrives when you had stopped expecting it. For others, it will feel like a decision, something that has been in a gray zone, a project, a relationship, a direction, suddenly becomes clear. Not because the situation changed, but because something in you is ready to claim it. Saturn gives structure to what Pluto has been transforming. The decision lands with a firmness it didn't have before. For others still, it will feel like relief, like something that has been pressing on your shoulders for a long time, a burden of uncertainty, of unrecognized effort, of wondering if what you're doing matters, lifts slightly, and in the space where it lifted, something else becomes visible, something that looks like a reward. I want to move through the signs now because tomorrow's Saturn-Pluto sextile affects each of you in a specific area of your life. If you are Aries, Saturn is in your own sign. This means you are the primary recipient of tomorrow's Saturn energy. Your efforts, your discipline, your willingness to be the one who goes first and does the hard thing. This is what Saturn is recognizing tomorrow. And Pluto's sextile from Aquarius reaches into your 11th house, your house of community and future. The reward arrives through a network, a group, a collective. Something you built or belong to opens a door. If you are Taurus, Saturn is in your 12th house, the house of hidden things and quiet work. The work you've been doing in the background, without visibility, without recognition, is exactly what Saturn is rewarding. And Pluto in your 10th house of career means the recognition, when it comes, will be professional and public. Something that was invisible becomes visible. Suddenly. If you are Gemini, Saturn in Aries is in your 11th house. Your communities, your networks, your vision for the future have been under Saturn's serious examination. Tomorrow, the examination yields a result in your favor. And Pluto in your 9th means the door that opens is one of expansion, education, philosophy, travel, or publishing. Your ideas are ready for a wider world. If you are Cancer, Saturn occupies your 10th house. Your career, your reputation, your public standing have been under Saturn's careful, demanding attention. Tomorrow, that attention bears fruit. A professional recognition arrives. A door opens in a direction your career has been building toward. And Pluto, in your 8th, the house of shared resources and deep transformation, means the reward has a financial or deeply transformative dimension. If you are Leo, Saturn is in your 9th house of wisdom and expansion. The beliefs you have been testing and refining, the philosophy you have been building, the education or travel you have pursued, these are rewarded tomorrow. And Pluto in your 7th means the reward involves another person, a partner, a collaborator, someone whose influence opens something for you. If you are Virgo, Saturn is in your 8th house. The transformation of your resources, the clearing of old debts, physical or emotional, the restructuring of what you share with others. This is what Saturn has been working on. And tomorrow, Pluto's sextile from your 6th house means the reward is practical and immediate. Something in your daily life or your health becomes clearer and more manageable. If you are Libra, Saturn is in your 7th house of partnership. The relationships you have been approaching with seriousness, with commitment, with honest effort, these are receiving Saturn's recognition tomorrow. A partnership clarifies or deepens in a significant way, and Pluto in your 5th means the transformation has a creative or romantic dimension. If you are Scorpio, Saturn is in your 6th house. Your daily work, your service, your commitment to the practical details that support everyone around you, this is rewarded. The extra hours, the unglamorous tasks, the showing up consistently when others didn't, Saturn sees all of it. And Pluto in your 4th means the recognition lands in your home or family life. Something improves at the root level. If you are Sagittarius, Saturn is in your 5th house of creativity and joy. The creative work you have been disciplining, the project you have been building through consistent effort, the performance you have been preparing, this receives recognition tomorrow. And Pluto in your 3rd means your voice and your communication are part of how the transformation arrives. If you are Capricorn, you and Saturn have a special relationship because Saturn rules your sign. When Saturn forms a powerful aspect, you feel it more directly than most. Tomorrow, Saturn in your 4th house is rewarding your investment in your home, your family, your roots, your sense of security. And Pluto in your 2nd house means the reward has a material dimension, something financial improves. If you are Aquarius, Pluto is in your own sign. You are living through the deepest personal transformation of your life, a transformation that will define who you become in the next 2 decades. Tomorrow's sextile with Saturn in Aries from your 3rd house means that a conversation, a message, or an idea begins to carry the weight of that transformation forward. Something you think or say tomorrow matters more than it appears to. If you are Pisces, Saturn is in your 2nd house of money and resources. You have been applying serious, disciplined effort to your financial situation. Tomorrow, the reward for that discipline begins to become visible. And Pluto in your 12th means the transformation is coming from a place so deep it feels almost spiritual. Something in your unconscious, in your deepest sense of self, is changing in a way that will reshape your relationship to resources and to what you believe you deserve. Okay, here's what I want you to actually do tonight and tomorrow before the sextile is exact. The first thing, tonight, make an inventory. Before you sleep, I want you to write down, on paper, not on a screen, 3 things you have worked hard for over the past few years that have not been fully recognized. Not your greatest achievements, not the things that got applause, the quiet ones, the things you did in the unglamorous hours, without audience, because you believed they mattered. Write 3 of them down. The second thing, tomorrow before 6:11 p.m. Eastern, hold those 3 things in your awareness and make one request. Not a wish, a request. There is a difference. A wish is passive. A request is a conversation between 2 parties. Say to the universe, out loud if you can, or quietly if you must, I have done the work. I am asking for what it has earned. I am ready to receive. The third thing, act as if the door is already open. This is the key to working with a sextile. The opportunity the sextile creates is real, but it requires your belief in it to be activated. Tomorrow, in whatever professional or personal context is most relevant to you, show up as someone who expects to be recognized, not arrogantly, with quiet confidence, the person who knows the work was good and acts accordingly. That energy magnetizes the reward. Here's what I want you to carry from today's conversation. Saturn and Pluto tomorrow are not creating the reward. They are recognizing what already exists. The work you did, that is the real thing. The alignment is the cosmic acknowledgement of what you already built. You have not been building in vain. The years of effort, the seasons of showing up when you didn't want to, the discipline of staying the course when the course was difficult, none of that was wasted. The ledger is being reviewed tomorrow, and you are in the credit column. Tell me in the comments, what's the work you've done that hasn't been recognized yet? What are you asking the universe to acknowledge tomorrow? I read every word, and I want to witness this with you. Until next time, keep looking up. This is Luna Solano.